That is such a Unitarian Universalist piece of music. So when Natasha first sent me the details on the music, she didn't say that it was by Jason Shelton. I should have been able to guess. Jason is a UU minister of music, and an incredible composer. So I've been a Unitarian Universalist for about 38 years now, and a minister for 15. And I've experienced the cultures and the structures and the struggles and the successes of many UU congregations over those years. And since as a UU, I live into the questions, I return on a regular basis to the core question of my ministry: why church? Why do people create these complicated and challenging institutions? Why do we make commitments by joining them, sustaining them, leading them? What is it about these faith-based institutions that is so compelling for us? And how do these institutions manage to be in some ways so fragile, so vulnerable, and at the same time so durable over time and through so many changes? Today, you will hear from your board president as she reflects on the recent listening process in which so many of you participated last month, sharing your ideas about how this congregation is called to change as you seek to nourish the hunger of all generations for community and spiritual connection. We know that the world continues to change within us and around us, and we are invited into transformation as we respond to the currents of change. So before you hear from Jenny, let us consider together why this question is important and what it means for each of us and all of us as we live in this time of challenge and possibility. So let us begin with transformation, which is a topic near and dear to my heart, so much so that the signature line on my email account reads, "Change is inevitable, transformation," can anybody finish that sentence? "Is our choice." Absolutely. You're listening. So I was beyond gratified to find that transformation is named as one of the core values of our faith in the new Article 2 statement of our UU values. That section reads, "Transformation. We adapt to the changing world. We covenant to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically. Openness to change is fundamental to our Unitarian and Universalist heritages, never complete and never perfect." I also know that the idea of transformation is worrisome to some people. One of the UUs attending the Article 2 discussion last Saturday expressed their fear that transformation means becoming something completely different than what you have been. I'd been listening quietly, kind of keeping a low profile up to that point, but when I heard that fear, I immediately pulled up the chat to respond that quite to the contrary, transformation means becoming more of who you truly are. When the caterpillar transforms into the butterfly essence was in the cellular structure all along, so that transformation simply allows that true butterfly essence to manifest more fully. Even so, our UU congregations transform in response to changing needs in a changing world. Each church has the opportunity to become even more of who they most truly are, which of course begs the question, why church? What is the purpose? What is the meaning of this faith community in our lives? What does it offer to the world? What is the essence deep in the cellular structure of this Unitarian Universalist church in Cherry Hill? What are the essential qualities that define the church at its core? What is the burning ember at the center of our flame? Where is the heart center of love that is the spirit of this church, giving power to all we do? At the most basic level, a Unitarian Universalist church is a voluntary association that is created and sustained by the people who want and need it to exist. The Unitarians and Universalists who created our churches over the centuries and who continue to create and sustain these churches have been deeply committed to ways of faith that do not conform with other established faith traditions. A doctrinal, hierarchical church was not working for them, so they gathered to make a new kind of church. Ours is a heritage of heresy, as we turn away from established doctrines and external control to commit to our own free and responsible search for truth and meaning in a democratic system. The search for truth and the desire to own and manage our own churches required that we bring into being a new kind of church. Those founding generations of past centuries donated money and land and labor in much the same way our churches are supported today. They put up buildings and provided the money to pay ministers and staff. They made decisions to chart the direction of their free churches. They believed that churches as institutions were important for the community they provide for their members, important for the principles and values they promote, important for the work they do in the world. But the question persists around these institutions. Why church? A lot of people are grappling with that question these days, as year after year the national studies of attitudes toward religion in this country have found that people, especially younger people, are not affiliating with any religious institution. They're choosing instead to stake their claim on the identity of spiritual but not religious. Why make a commitment of time and energy to join a church? Why trust that a church can be a meaningful community to support your life when you can just do it on your own? Rabbi David Volpe wrote an essay on time.com a few years ago in which he addressed this very issue, and I quote, "All of us can understand institutional disenchantment. Institutions can be slow, plodding, dictatorial. They can both enable and shield wrongdoers. They frustrate our desires by asking us to submit to the will of others. But," he continues, "institutions are the only mechanism human beings know to promote ideologies and actions. If books were enough, why have universities? If guns are enough, why have a military? If self-governance is enough, let's get rid of Washington." Yeah, we can talk about that. The point is that if you want to do something lasting in this world, you will recall that everything begins in mysticism and ends in politics. And, I might add, politics is the art and science of living together in community, living in connection. Back to Volpe. Got a vision? Volpe asks, then get a blueprint. Spirituality is an emotion. Religion is an obligation. Spirituality soothes. Religion mobilizes. Spirituality is satisfied with itself. Religion is dissatisfied with the world. Religions create organizations, and through organizations, we mobilize our energies to create change, moving ourselves collectively toward our goal of growing in compassion and creating justice. Unitarianism and Universalism both began as belief systems that challenged the doctrines of mainstream Christianity. And as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, they took institutional form in Transylvania in the mid-1500s. From the beginning, Unitarian and Universalist churches offered a community of sanctuary for those in harm's way, those whose identities, beliefs, and ways of being in the world were not respected or affirmed in the larger society. Unitarian Universalism is a unique and liberating way of faith, creating circles of belonging that are expansive and welcoming in a world that needs, that longs for the community we offer. We are all seekers in some way. We all arrive in these churches, each time we arrive seeking a home where we can belong, making a place for ourselves with the need to be accepted by those who have arrived before us. The core responsibility of membership, of ownership, is to sustain the institution and carry out its purposes, and to provide a place for the newcomer, welcoming those who are exploring to see whether they belong here. The church can thrive into the future only by continuing to welcome those who bring their presence, their skills and talents, their doubts and questions and needs, especially their questions, to enrich and enliven the community. The founding generations of our faith understood that if they did not create and sustain these churches would not exist. Even so, into the present days, this UU Church will continue to thrive, even to survive, only if coming generations perceive its value and continue to sustain it. And so, as in the poem I read for our reflection earlier today, like the snake outgrowing its old skin and creating a new one, the church for the future is invited to enter the vulnerable process of transformation, opening the circle of welcome and belonging in response to a changing world. And so your Board of Trustees posed an open question. How might this church transform to meet the needs, to satisfy the hunger of all generations for what our faith has to offer? How can this become the church for the unfolding future? And now, your president, Jenny Stone, will tell you what we heard. Jenny.
Good morning. Unitarian Universalists dare to question, right? We question our assumptions, we question our policies, we even question what may seem obvious. As I said a few weeks ago, we are in a pivotal time. We are coming out of a long period of looking inward and questioning the way we do things. For the last nearly 5 years, Reverend Margaret has coached us along a path to creating a culture of trust, abundance, and connection. While this is an ongoing process, we are now about to start a new ministry. So in this exciting time, the Board of Trustees wanted to engage us all in a conversation to question how we can think about our community moving forward. The fact that we're in a place to ask the question is a testament to the success of our developmental work. The question we asked was, how can we nourish the hunger of all generations for community and spiritual connection in this ever-changing world? And now I am so excited that I get to report to you the results of the listening circles. First, a note of gratitude. Let's all express our thanks to the Board of Trustees for creating this open question, to the listening circle facilitators for their time and generosity as they guided our conversation, and to those who helped with the data analysis. Thank you all. So, as you can see from the slide, we had responses from 67 congregants. Good for you for showing up. Ranging from longtime members to new visitors, and ranging from young adult to wisdom of the ages. The responses fell into 6 categories: outreach through advertising, welcoming, engaging new members, youth engagement, internal communication, and community connection. People offered many ideas, from specific suggestions, such as activities to attract youth, to general suggestions, such as partnering with other faith organizations for social justice. And ideas ranged from the programmatic, such as hosting music concerts, to the process-oriented, such as creating a culture of safety. Everyone had more than one idea, so that's why the number of responses is greater than the number of participants. We had a lot of ideas. Okay, so that's the numbers data, but what does it mean? And here's where I get excited. You are all ready to bust out of these walls. It's so great. Okay, next slide. For those of you for whom this might be new, this slide is showing something called a word cloud. We tried to capture words, concepts, or phrases that were used most often by the participants. The most common words are the biggest ones in the cloud. Words used less often are smaller. And in order not to crowd the cloud, we stuck to the most commonly used concepts. Take a look at these words. Building on what Margaret said earlier, notice that they represent both spirituality and religion. The most responses were in the 2 categories of outreach through advertising and community connection. About 40 responses noted that we would like to have a bigger social media presence and would like to advertise all the great things we are doing. We want to get our message out to those who may be looking for what we have to offer, a community rooted in values of justice, transformation, and love, where our diverse spiritual journeys are respected and encouraged. Also, about 40 responses indicated that we are ready to party. We want to have gatherings, talk to each other, have fun with each other, and enjoy our beautiful church grounds. But here's where my pride creeps into my excitement. Close to half of those responses noted that you want to engage other faith communities and community partners to work with us and play with us. This represents a new energy in our church. We are ready to try new ideas. We are ready to reach outside our walls and become part of our wider community. We are ready to put our values into action in ways that take us beyond Sunday morning. This is the perfect place to be at the start of a new ministry. Next slide. So where do we go from here? Our mission is to create a spiritual community by learning to know others and ourselves, valuing and embracing the richness of our diversity, serving others and confronting injustice to do more than each can do alone. That's our mission statement. Your board of trustees is accountable to this mission in all that we do. We have spent nearly 3 years learning about governance, valuing the resources of the congregation, and serving the big picture of how we grow into who we have said we want to be. We look forward to taking these open question responses forward into the next church year as we start to formulate strategic goals for our new ministry. The responses have shown that you all are living this mission as well, and you are ready to let that mission guide us into even bigger conversations about how we can use our strengths to draw our circle wide. Expect the conversations to continue. In the meantime, do you have an idea? Great! If it serves our mission and ignites your passion, bring along a couple of friends and organize. You don't need the board's permission if it aligns with our policies. You can check with the minister to see if it's already being done, or if synergies with other groups within the church can help you. The Leadership Council, Social Justice Council, faith engagement programs, and others are already moving into new programs and ways to connect. As your president, one of my roles is to be your cheerleader. I am so excited to have these conversations with you. The board will be having a forum next month to talk more about how our new governance is evolving. LDNC may be reaching out to you for ideas about who would be a good fit for our elected positions for next year. And we still need one delegate for General Assembly to represent uucch in the national conversation about Article 2 changes. And we hope to be able to announce the name of a new minister in the next several weeks. This is a pivotal time. Thanks to each one of you for your passion for this community. Working together, our culture of abundance will shine. And to paraphrase the song, our future's so bright, I gotta wear shades.
Thank you so much, Jenny, for your wise and capable leadership, your courage in asking the challenging questions. Thank you to the Board of Trustees for all that you do and helping this church continue to grow and transform to serve the community and to connect with those who are seeking what this church has to offer in the world. From the very beginning, throughout the centuries, Unitarian Universalism has been a leader in creating a new way of religion, a way of integrity, service, and hope, offering both sanctuary and strength in commitment. Being part of a Unitarian Universalist church is an act of faith in this complex and changing world, faith in the power of connection, faith that we need each other to develop into our full human potential, faith that we are stronger together than we are alone, faith that together we can create an institution that effectively brings into reality and perpetuates our commitment to human worth and dignity, justice, equity, and compassion. Claiming your place in a Unitarian Universalist church makes a statement that this is where you find a connection that supports and inspires you, where you have a place to celebrate, to grow, and create. So I sent out an email recently to the people I knew had been around for a while and who have been kind of not, and would not yet become members, because Linda really wants to know. Linda Dillon really wants to know, why aren't these people members? And I'm like, you know, I said, and it's very simple, because all you have to do is meet with me, we talk, you agree to the covenant, which is up on the wall in case you have forgotten what it says. You fill out some paperwork and sign the book, and especially if you've been coming for a while. So now is a great time as we move into a new future. If you got an email from me and haven't responded, you know, just check in with me. If you don't read your email, let me know how best to reach you, because email is what I do. And I have a group gathering on March 3rd at 1 o'clock after the handbell rehearsal. And I can also meet with people individually. So just let me know if you'd like to become a part of this place in a formal way. Your creativity is the enlivening spark of innovation and growth in what the church has to offer. Supporting a Unitarian Universalist church is a way to put your time, talent, and treasure where your values are, and to co-create an institutional presence that brings more wholeness and healing into the world. Together, we are co-creating something new in the world, an institution that serves its members and the world, centered in love to inspire and power the passion with which we live into and embody our values. And so in our transformation, may we transform the world toward more peace, justice, and wholeness. I invite you now to rise and embody your spirit and join in our closing hymn, Building a New Way. It's number 1017 in your teal hymnal. The words will be